Hello and welcome to another episode of WTF Up to My Body. I am your host, Natalie Garay, and welcome to a long-awaited episode, in my mind anyway. It's been a while since I recorded a podcast, and this one is actually on video too, so if you wanted to watch it on YouTube, you could do that as well. So today I wanted to talk about my labs and update. So in a previous episode, some months ago, back in May, I did some lab work, and I talked about how I am quite a nerd about this. I geek out on this. I love to see the numbers. I love to see the levels. I want the information, and I want to know how to be able to optimize my health. And just to backtrack a little bit, I started backtracking. I started optimizing my health back in 2022 with looking deeper into my lab work. And that all came about after my mom's passing in 2021. We're coming up on her 4-year death anniversary, to be quite morbid. And so my whole point in looking deeper into my health was because she had passed away with dementia. It was something I wanted to look into. I wanted to do whatever I could to avoid or delay experiencing that for myself. It was a long, hard process for her, for me, for my girls, and of course for my dad. And it was not a fun adventure to go through. I don't wish this on everybody. So having been in the women's wellness world for quite some time and looking into it, because I do geek out on learning more and more all the time, I knew that there were things that I could do to optimize my health. Also, just being with her through her journey with her functional medicine doctor, I learned so much. And that is what drew me to go back to school and to also dive deeper into my health. So I saw her functional medicine doctor and we did extensive blood work. It got a food sensitivity test. We looked deep into my hormones. We looked into my inflammation, just everything that you could look at in a deeper way. And so then I followed protocol. So that was late 2022. I continued that protocol for quite some time. And in the process, I decreased my inflammation. I lost over 40 pounds and I felt great. It was a lot of puffiness that I didn't realize was there. It was a lot of brain fog that I didn't realize was there. Sometimes we just get to a point where we're like, this is just kind of how I operate daily. This is a regular feeling for me. And we get used to it until we realize. I always talk about like going to get my nails done because I'm really bad at getting my nails done. And I look at it this way. I'm like, they're okay. I don't really need to worry about it. And then once I go and I get them and they're, doing the cuticle work or whatever, I was like, holy shit, those were bad. That was a lot of work she had to do on that. And so it's like, we don't really know until we dive deeper, I guess. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but that's kind of how I was looking at it. And so anyway, fast forward now to May this year of 2024. And I did another test that I found online and took another look at what was going on, because at this point I'd been following this protocol. The doctor gave me the protocol, gave me the results and all that stuff, and kind of said, I could have checked in, of course, but I didn't know when and how often. But it's not necessarily like you have accountability, which is what I love to do with my clients, is keep up with them on a regular basis to see how they're doing with the protocol, because changing everything in your life is a lot. Although I don't recommend that. You just start, bit by bit. And that's how I operate with my clients is, adding into their life. So it's not complicated. And so it's sustainable. And it's not something that you just want to give up on. So anyway, that was a sidebar. Coming back to May of 24, I did another blood test. Come to find out, I had reversed my biological age by 15 years. And I was stunned, for one, but also very proud of myself because I had put in the work. And my whole reason for doing this was so that I could feel better. I talk about this 40+ pound weight loss, and that wasn't necessarily my goal. Again, going back to the whole nail analogy, I didn't realize I needed to lose any weight. And that was kind of a byproduct, and it was welcome. And of course, in the, for the sake of health, it was necessary. Reducing the inflammation was necessary. And then the puffiness and everything went away. And so, I talk about my 40-pound weight loss, and not that for that reason, to say it was a byproduct, and I'm definitely not a weight loss coach, and that isn't something that I want to put myself out there as, but I want to get to the root cause, and I want to be able to operate at my best. And that's how I want my clients to operate, is at their best. So I reversed my biological age by 15 years, which was fantastic. And there was over 100 and something biomarkers that were looked into. And at the time, there were about 8 or 9, I want to say, that were out of range, either above range or below range of what was optimal in certain areas. And there was a couple of factors that played into those results. And so I continued to follow a protocol. I adjusted as needed. And with this particular program that I signed up for online, or lab work, I should say, not necessarily a program, but this online platform I signed up for to get the blood work and have the results shown to me, it included a follow-up. It says, to follow up within 3 to 6 months, I believe it is. And I followed up 7 months later, just with my schedule and coming out of school, etc. Got all the things, and we make the excuses. And anyway, I finally did it. And I was quite pleased and satisfied with the result initially. With a 33-year biological age, I was 33 years old, as opposed to being 40, I think it was 47 at the time. And so, I was fine with that. And I thought, okay, I just want to know what's going on inside my body now at this point. I've continued with this protocol. Have I improved? Do I need to improve more? What needs to be adjusted? Because we always need to recalibrate. We always need to look into what's going on, because things shift, things change, and we age. However, we do not have to live with it. We don't have to just go with it. You know what I'm saying? We just don't have to deal. We don't have to accept that. We can do things if we choose to. And it's an interesting thing that I've discovered too. Like, some will choose to. Some of us want to live well into our 90s or 100 and be functioning with our wits and our tits about us. I want to have all the brain optimization that I can, the brain function. I want to be able to be mobile. I don't want to live into those years in a chair, unable to get out of it, and not have my vitality. So some of us will choose that, some of us won't. And whatever you choose is, obviously perfect for you. So the results came back. I went and got my updated lab this week, just a few days ago. The next day, I was already getting some results. So I popped into the portal, and I looked at it, and the first thing I see is my biological age reversed again by almost 4 more years, which to me, again, was surprising. I was fine. I was satisfied. But I guess if you're not continuing to progress, why would it stay the same? If you're continuing to support yourself and do the work, why wouldn't it reverse? Anyway, I just wasn't expecting that. And so now I'm 29.7 years old as opposed to 48. I'll fucking take it. I have talked about this before. I've gone back to school. I started in the fall of 2022. I went back to school with a math class, completely bombed that math class, put so much money into tutoring, so much time into it. And it took a lot of work to get my body to operate, my brain to operate in a new way by going back and learning the math. It's been how many years since I've been out of college? 20 something at least. I haven't taken a math class since high school, and I got by in high school by the bare minimum so I could graduate. I may have taken a math class in college, but I was a dance major. And so none of those classes are necessarily beyond the general education my major did not require. So I need to continue to optimize myself and my health for the goals and the dreams and the things that I want to accomplish in my second half. And this second half of life to me is extremely important. I've got so many ideas and so many things that I want to do. But the crazy thing is that it all spurred from my mom's health journey and her passing. And in that process, realizing, holy shit, if we had just started sooner with her, if we had known all of these things back then, it's highly possible that she would still be here by now, because she passed at a very young age. She was 66, if I remember correctly, 67. which is way too fucking young. She should still be here. And like I said, it was extremely hard on me. It was very hard on my daughters. I truly believe it was avoidable. And that what I don't want is to experience that myself because it was awful. And I don't want my daughters to have to deal with that or experience that with me. And I want to educate them and their generation on how they can best support themselves to live their best life, healthy, and have their vitality well into their years. And that does actually mean starting now, in their 20s. They're in their early 20s. And what I've learned is that any disease is, obviously it starts way beyond we're actually diagnosed. So what I've learned is that dementia is actually developing 10 or more years prior to the actual diagnosis. And for my mom, her early signs were mood changes, which seems to be pretty consistent for most. So she wasn't feeling like herself. She went to the doctor. She told them she wasn't feeling like herself. She was having a low mood. She was feeling down a lot. And they put her on an antidepressant, which seems to be the go-to for a lot of women in their 50s. When they come into a doctor's office and say, I'm not feeling like myself, I, weepy, or I feel down a lot, then that is a prescription, is a antidepressant, which I think is unfortunate as a first go-to or as solo, not cure, but a solo tool, if that makes sense. So as opposed to saying, why don't you get some more exercise? Let's look into your diet. And in the meantime, let's put you on this for now and maybe wean you off gradually as you don't need it anymore. Because what I also learned with these labs is that if you are deficient in a lot of these essential nutrients, vitamins, minerals, it will affect your mood. Something as simple as a vitamin B deficiency or a vitamin D deficiency is going to affect your mood greatly. And so this is my main reason for deep diving into my health. I need all the energy I can get. I need all of the strength I can get. I need all of the brain function I can get because it's a lot to take in. These science classes that I'm taking as a creative mind, at least I tell myself I have a creative mind, and that the sciences have never really necessarily come easy to me. And I've taken physics now. I've taken 2 bio classes, including labs. All of these classes have labs. I have about 9 or 10 prerequisites that are required of me before I even get into my naturopathic doctor program, which is, fingers crossed, I will be in the fall of 2025. And it's very exciting to me. And as I learn and you continue to join me on the podcast, you'll learn what I learn as I learn it, as well as in my programs. And the North of 40 Club will be reopening soon. So if that is something you want to participate in, I highly recommend it because already I've created a video library of Pilates videos, of yoga videos, masterclasses, and we will be meeting monthly for a masterclass to teach you things that you need to know or should know after 40. Everything from hormones to brain optimization to longevity, which are going to be my areas of focus when I graduate. When I say when I graduate, but I'm already focusing on those areas and implementing them in my life, but also helping my clients implement them as well. And so the biology classes, 2 bios, 2 bio labs, Gen Chem, 2 of those, and 2 Gen Chem labs. And I now am taking, or I have 2 more chemistry classes to take, and that's organic chem. I'm taking an organic chem class in the spring. And then I have another organic chem 2 class to take after that in the summertime, prior to even getting into the program, which I'm looking forward to. Like, all of this is just fantastic and I love it. And if I was not so driven by the need and the desire to support myself and my health so that I can avoid or delay experiencing what my mom experienced, then I would never be doing this. It's simply my desire to make sure that that's not my fate, that women in my generation don't experience that, my daughters and my daughter's generation don't experience that. And because my mom, had she known this information, like I said, she would definitely be with us here today. And so that is my driving force behind all of this, behind the podcast, behind the book that I'm putting out. Oh, by the way, I have a book coming January 2020 that I've been working on for actively/inactively for the last 3 years. And I say inactively because I've had to take some pauses because I started this process of writing a book in early 2022. I remember meeting with the publishers in the winter of 2021, just before the holidays, and going into the new year on fire, New Year of 2022 on fire, getting ready to do all the things for my book. And then at some point in that year of 2022, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back to school. And I did in that fall of 2022. And then I was like, shit, I can't write a book and go to school. I'm going to lose my fucking mind. And so we had to take a pause between that time. And finally, we kicked it into gear throughout 2023, throughout 2024. And hallelujah, it's finally coming out in January 28th to be exact, of 2025. WTF happened to my body, how to fix the aftermath of having kids, no matter how long ago it was. And so that is my mission, my drive, my motivation behind all of this is making sure that women like you know that you do not have to continue to experience this feeling of whatever you're feeling in your body that's uncomfortable. You're over 40, most likely, because that is my audience, is the North of 40 Club. And you're wondering WTF. You're wondering WTF because for the last 20-something years, you have been probably head down, taking care of your kids, taking care of your partner, running your business, or, running a company. And now you finally come up for breath because you have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more time, because now the kids may be off to college or out of the house. And you're just like, what the fuck? My body aches. I don't even know where I left my car keys. I came into this room. I have no idea what I'm doing in here. I'm going to go back and find out. You go into the other room. You're like, shit, I forgot that. And you go back to the same room, remembering eventually what you went in there for. And everything aches. And maybe you have occasional rage episodes, or maybe you are having hot flashes and brain fog and all of these things. And you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even know what my body's doing. I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with myself. And I get it. I totally get it. And I'm going to talk about in the next episode the reasons why those things are happening and how to fix it. So yes, I have a book coming out. There's a wait list on the website. There's a wait list link in my Instagram bio. Join the wait list and be the first to know when it's out and available. There will be some fun giveaways and your purchases, of course, will help get this information out to more women who need it, who have been told this is just part of the territory. You just have to deal with it. This is for that 40 plus woman. Of course, any woman, any mom could benefit from it at any point, but this is who I'm talking to because you 100% did not get the tools to rehabilitate your body, your mind, and your emotions after having a kid or 2 or 5. And again, like I said, now you're going, so this is the guidebook that you should have received when you left the hospital, after you had the kid. And now it's never too late to start building that foundation, to start feeling like yourself again, to start feeling better, to gain strength. And at this point, we really need to do that for our health and wellness. Building muscle mass and strengthening our body has so much to do with our longevity, with our optimal function, with being able to get up and out of a chair after, when we're in our 80s, on being able to recoup after falling with, there's so many reasons why. So find the wait list. It's on my website, nataliesayeswtf.com, which is also my handle on Instagram. Come and follow me because I have a channel there on Instagram where I'm posting and sharing things that are exclusive to the channel who are joining me there. That is my inner circle. And I share tools, I share information, I share pre-sales to, things that are coming up like the North of 40 Club. And the North of 40 Club, again, is going to include monthly classes and coaching calls. So that's where you come and you learn about what you need to know about your body. This is where you connect with your fellow North of 40 Clubbers. So community and connection is highly important, and sharing what you know, what's helped you. I mentioned the Pilates and yoga video library. We also have a monthly Q&A call. Come with your questions. What's going on? How do I do this? How do I, why am I feeling like this, and what can I do about it? That's my, I want to say obsession, but that's what I geek out on, is making sure that you have the information and that you have the tools that you need, because I have so much information to share, and I'm only going to learn more as I go through my schooling process and any internships that I participate in thereafter. So that's a good 4 to 5, maybe 6 years of learning that you are all going to get. And the membership, when it opens up, if you're not in my channel, there's a pre-sale price until December 29th. So if you jump in the channel, you'll get the pre-sale price if you sign up for that, which is $22 a month. And or you can sign up for 6 months for $111, and you get a free one-on-one with me, which is a 75-minute one-on-one to come meet with me on Zoom to get your specific questions and your specific needs met. And that could be going over your labs with you, creating a roadmap for you, creating a wellness plan, helping you implement your movement practice into your day because you're busy and you're like, how am I going to do all of this? How am I going to implement this? And it's step by step, slowly, piece by piece. And that's the only sustainable way that you're going to be able to do that. So the North of 40 Club, join me. We have a workshop coming up December 29th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. From fatigue to freedom. WTF is happening to your hormones and how to fix it. And we will get into hormones in a whole other episode and talk perimenopause and menopause, because, oh dear Lord, are the hormones important and play a role in so much. And so many women have been gaslit about hormones, what they can and can't do for them, and how to test for them, or how you can't test for them, and just so much BS out there about it. And we need to share this information with women. I will say this. So before I go into, a rabbit hole about hormones, that was something that my mom was not unaware of, was her hormone health. Because in her early days, there was a study that came out that scared the shit out of every woman and every doctor who was estrogen or hormone replacement therapy. 20 years later, come to find out that study was poorly done. The information did not make sense. The study was wrong. Women do not develop breast cancer by taking HRT. Some women cannot use HRT, but most women can. And it is actually life-saving. And so I will just drop that little nugget here. And I will say, join me in the next episode, and we will dive so much deeper into perimenopause and menopause. And thank you so much for joining me for this episode of WTF Happened to My Body. Women need to know this information, sisters. So be sure to like it, share it, save it, download it, blast it, tag me on Instagram. And Natalie Says WTF on Instagram. Join the channel. Hop on the book wait list. Hop on the North of 40 Club wait list if you're not in the channel. And I will see you all soon.